The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to this morning's role play session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you, Andrea, and welcome to our participants on the role play session here today. It is my great pleasure to be hosting our session. I hope all of you are ready to do some role playing with me, or any of your follow-up related questions, anything to do with the Universal Script. This is what we're going to work on, as we do every Thursday, of course. Now, today in Sarasota, Florida, Craig is doing his boot camp. So that means that there are a lot of absentees on our role play session here this morning, but that's okay, because for those of you that are on the West Coast, we're going to be doing our boot camp in June. And as you can see here, Andrea is showing you under schedule. You go to upcoming events, and you can see here that in June on the 26th in Huntington Beach, you can reserve your seat. June 26th in Huntington Beach is going to be our members-only boot camp. So this day that's happening today on the East Coast in Florida, we're going to repeat this again on the West Coast in June, and we'd really love to know that you're going to be there. So Andrea is demonstrating for you how easy it is to confirm that you will be there simply by clicking reserve your seat, confirm my seat, and if you want to bring anybody with you, part of your team, that would be absolutely fine as well. So make it really, really easy. But as we've talked about before, spending a day in a classroom environment working on your business is worth, it's worth countless months of webinars and and phone calls. Just being in that environment really allows you to absorb the information in a way that is really superior to anything else. So I can't recommend it enough. We're going to have a really good turnout, and it's going to be a really fantastic, exciting, rewarding day. So we're looking forward to seeing you. Okay, now, today is our role play. So I do want to take your role playing questions as well as volunteers and all that stuff. Before we do, though, I want to sort of get the juices flowing by talking about a mindset when you're making these follow-up calls. And I just want to give you a little bit of background, because I think that a lot of you might be able to relate to this in some way or another. 20 years ago, when I first met Craig and joined his real estate team, initially, the reason that Craig was looking for realtors at that time to join the team was because he had invested in something called a predictive dialer. And now this is 20 years ago, and what a predictive dialer does is it cold calls a number of people at one time. So it's got, say, 5 or 6 phone lines that go into the computer, and it automatically calls all 6 lines at once. So it calls 6 random numbers at once. The first person to answer is connected with the operator, which was me. Now, then on the screen, there's a slight delay, and on the screen it shows you the name of the person that answered the phone. So the other 5 lines hang up. The odds are very good that if you dial 6 numbers, 1 is going to answer. But this is pure cold calling. Pure cold calling. The script is very simple. Hi, it's James with Craig Proctor's office at RE/MAX. Was just calling to see if you were thinking about making a move. That's it. There's no, so virtually everyone said no thank you. Once in a while you get someone that would say, I'm thinking about it, but you could speak to 270 people in a day, but this is absolutely pure cold calling. And what happens over time, for those of you that can relate to this, is your mindset becomes one where you've already convinced yourself that the person that you're talking to has absolutely zero interest in buying or selling. And that starts to become your mindset after a while, where it doesn't matter whether the person that you're talking to might actually be making a move. It doesn't matter that someone could explain to you, look, if people move on average every 5 to 7 years, that means every 5 to 7 people you talk to is moving this year. It means that every 10 to 14 people you speak to is moving within the next 6 months. It means that 1 out of every 30 people that you talk to is going to be putting their home on the market in the next 90 days. But none of those statistics mean anything when you're cold calling like this. Your mindset starts to become no one's interested, and this is a big waste of time. And when the next person says, no, I'm not really interested, you kind of say to yourself, I knew it. Here's why I'm bringing this up, is because it is important to have the correct mindset, and I want to completely 180-degree shift this to Craig's implementation of direct response marketing and how different life became when he implemented that into the team system. All of a sudden, your mindset shifts from I'm calling people that have absolutely no interest in talking to me and have done nothing, I'm simply bothering them, to all of a sudden, we're only calling those that have first called us to request real estate information. So instead of countless thousands of conversations with people that have done absolutely nothing to indicate any motivation, that have done absolutely nothing to request information about real estate or do anything at all to warrant this phone call, now all of a sudden I'm only calling those that have on their own volition requested real estate information from us by calling us first. So talk about a complete mindset shift. This is what the mindset that you need to have. I found this to be extremely valuable. Remind yourself before you dial up a prospect. Remind yourself of this every time before you dial a prospect. What has the prospect done in order for me to be calling them right now? What did they do? What actions did this prospect take to be worthy of me taking the time to pick up the phone and call this person? Why am I doing it? What did they do first? And we look in the notes and we see, well, this person was looking online for real estate information. They wouldn't have found our ad had they not been doing that. Number two, when they saw our ad, they were so compelled by the offer that they took action. They visited the website, and when they got to the website, unlike the majority of prospects that also made it to this step, they detailed all of the information about their property or about what they were looking for, and they gave up their anonymity. They gave up their basic contact information in order to get the information. Now think of the dozens or hundreds of prospects perhaps that elected not to do those things. And then think of the tiny minority of prospects that were willing to do those things. Why were they willing to do it? I know why. It's because they're ready, they're serious, they're the super motivated of them. I'm about to pick up the phone and call the person that did all of those things. And if they didn't do all of those things, then I'm not calling them. So your mindset is, I am calling somebody that is absolutely motivated to buy and sell. All I'm doing calling them is I'm discovering their timing. There is no doubt that their intentions are to buy or sell real estate. No questions about that. Normal people don't jump through all those hoops unless there's a level of motivation there. So I already know before I picked up the phone, this person is motivated. They wouldn't have done this had they not been motivated. I'm just trying to determine what is their timing. What is their timing and what is their level of motivation? They're motivated, but to what degree are they motivated? Not all prospects are created equal. But think of the difference in mindset when you're picking up the phone, calling somebody, knowing that they've done all of this versus cold calling, tens of thousands of phone numbers, cold calling over months and months and years, of which many of you can relate to that exact experience. Having the right mindset is really important because here's what happens. When you call a prospect and the prospect indicates that they're just thinking about it, you get it. You know, yeah, I understand you're just thinking about it. But there's a difference when a prospect that has jumped through all of these hoops says, I'm just thinking about it, versus someone that you're cold calling says just thinking about it. Here's the difference. When the person that you're cold calling says, yeah, not really, we're thinking about it, but not really. What that means to you is not interested, go away. When someone indicates they're just thinking about it, but they've jumped through all of these hoops, we know that they're very likely more motivated than they're willing to let on. We know that. Prospects will always try to make themselves appear as though they're less motivated than they are in fact. That's their job. It's what you and I do when we walk into the store. We feign, that we're just, we're just browsing around. We're looking, and then 20 minutes later, we're up at the counter buying shoes. And that's what we do. We know that. But there's a reason that we're in the shoe store, and it's because we are motivated to buy shoes. And this is exactly the same thing. By requesting the information, the prospect has walked into the shoe store. That's exactly what they've done. Better, they've walked into the barber shop. The reason people walk into a barber shop is to get a haircut. That's why they do it. They do not walk into the barber shop because they just wanted to poke their head in and check it out. You know, 1 in 100 might do that, but 99 out of 100 are going into the barbershop to get a haircut. Somebody that has jumped through these hoops, looking for real estate information, you know, responding to the offer, entering their information, giving up their anonymity, all of those things, what they have done is they've walked into your barbershop. They're motivated. They're motivated to get a haircut. What we want to determine by making this phone call is, look, we know you're motivated to buy or sell real estate. What we're trying to figure out is, at what point in the process are you? How motivated are you? And what is your timing? That's really all we're determining. See, some of you have phone fright, and it's because you're equating these phone calls to cold calling, and you've got to have the correct mindset. And I'm not talking to everybody here. I'm telling you this if it will help you. Some of you already have the right attitude, and that's why you do extremely well using this universal script with your prospects. This is why you convert 1 in every 3 to face-to-face appointments. It's because you already have the right mindset. You get it. But there are some of you that struggle a little bit. I'm telling you, what will help you a tremendous amount is when you understand before you talk to every prospect, what did this prospect do for me to be calling them? Did they do nothing? Am I cold calling them? No. What they did was they were looking for and requested real estate information. And in requesting that information, they gave up their anonymity. They told me who they were. Oh my God, I got a live one here. Like, this is somebody that is clearly, their intentions are to buy or sell real estate. I need to find out where, when, why. I need to figure out their motives for wanting to buy or sell. But there is no question in my mind. Their motivation is to buy or sell. I just need to explore this a little bit further. Having that mindset changes everything. Okay, now, having said that, let's get some volunteers here to do some role playing. But remember, we don't have to just limit ourselves to that. Some of you might want to ask some questions. Some of you perhaps have some challenges that you would like to discuss, or anything like that. Whatever it is, as long as it's related to follow-up, this is the correct forum, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, Andrea, let's get started.
Yes, sir. If you haven't done so already and you'd like to participate, go ahead and type your question or comment in the chat box, or type "I would like to role play." You can also click the hand icon if you have a working mic or you're on the telephone to ask a question aloud. Our first audio question comes from Ben Stokes. Your computer microphone is now open.
Hello, Ben.
Ben, your line is open. Okay, we'll move on. Carol Hiscom, your mic is now open.
Hello, Carol.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you today, Carol?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Excellent.
I have a question. I have leads that are coming in, and some of them do not put their phone number in because I don't require them to do that, but they put their email address in.
Yeah.
I have HDX. Do they start getting information from that, or do I go manually in and send?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you don't require them to include a phone number, then you can't punish them for not doing what you didn't require them to do. So let me address this in a couple different ways, okay? First of all, what we have to establish is this the exception of the rule? In other words, if you told me, oh, yeah, virtually everybody doesn't leave a phone number, then I'd say we have a big problem, because the only way to convert a prospect is by speaking to them. And if we don't have a phone number, we can't speak to them. There is no email that you're going to send them that's going to convert them into a face-to-face appointment. So it is imperative that we converse with them. And the only way we can do that is if we get a phone number. So either they give us a phone number, or we are able to capture their phone number because they give us enough information, an address or what have you. But if that's not happening, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to make those fields required. We need their name, we need their email, and we need a phone number. Those are required fields. We want to know who they are. We want to know their email address so we can email them the information and subsequent information. And we need their phone number so that we can reach out to the prospect. Will every prospect do it? Of course not. Will every prospect do it accurately? Of course not. But we're not doing this to get everybody. We're doing this to get a couple a day. Because if we get 2, 3, 4 a day, that's between 1,000 and 1,500 prospects a year. That's more than enough. We want the good ones. So the good ones are the ones that are at that point where their motivation is enough that they're willing to give up their anonymity in order to get valuable information, provided they see the information is valuable enough. So I would make those fields required. What you'll find is you'll get less requests for information, but better requests. Like, you would rather have fewer prospects that are better than lots and lots of prospects with no phone number.
Right, that's true.
Okay, so that would be the route that I would take there. One other thing that you want to consider is if a prospect gives you an address, you can copy and paste that address and look up the address online and see if there's a phone number attached to it. You know, almost like a crisscross directory online. You know, there are several, whitepages.com. You can do a simple Google search as well using a name and address. And often, if there's a phone number associated with that name and address, it'll give it to you.
Okay.
All right, so you can do that as well. But again, you know, you can't punish the prospect and not send them the information if you do not require them to give information. So that's what you need to address.
Success website set up these Facebook pages for me, so
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and they can. I mean, everything is a test. So, yeah, no, they've done nothing wrong in setting it up that way. I mean, you can call them and you can have them change anything you like, and they've done it many, many times before.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Our next guest with her hand raised is John Brackett. Your mic is now open.
Hello, John.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Stephen Chin, your mic is now open.
Hello, Stephen.
Hi, good morning, James. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How are you doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Excellent.
Great. I'd like to role play with you.
Okay. And I requested information, what typically are prospects responding to in your marketing?
Right now, I get people requesting through the online pay-per-click.
Okay, and what is it that they're requesting?
They're requesting for the distress sales.
Okay, all right, distress sales. Okay, so ring, ring, hello?
Is Mr. McDonald there?
Yeah, this is James. Who's this?
Hi, Mr. McDonald. This is Stephen Chan with Keller Williams Realty. The reason why I'm calling is because I received your request for the information you wanted, and I popped it in the mail to you. Is that okay?
You're mailing it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I thought it was going to be emailed. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Are you folks planning to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Not really.
Okay. Do you currently rent or do you own your own home?
No, we're currently renting.
Okay. And are you planning to stay in the area or move out of the area?
We're not really. Yeah, we're not. We're just thinking about it.
Okay. Let's just say if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
If we were to move, I don't know, maybe in the next, you know, within the year. If we do it, we'll do it sort of in the next 6 months, I would think.
Okay. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
We do know of a couple of different realtors, but nobody specifically.
Okay. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that matches your home buying criteria from all real estate companies?
Um, uh, is that what you're mailing me?
Actually, yeah, I'm mailing you the for the distress sales, and also our list include any bank foreclosure, company-owned property, or other distress sale. It's a free service, and of course, you are never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought I was requesting.
Okay, great. When do you think we can get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you are looking for?
Well, I can tell you right now if you like.
Well, Mr. McDonald, rather than email you hundreds of homes which may or may not match your criteria or risk missing out on the perfect one, if we can get together for about 20 minutes, I have a form I fill out. I can take down exactly what you're looking for, and I wanted to really do a good job for you. So can we get together for about 20 minutes? I'm flexible, days or evening.
Yeah, okay. I guess probably evenings would be best.
Okay. Would you be able to meet tonight around 6 o'clock?
No, tonight's kind of short notice. I've got stuff going on tonight.
Okay. How about tomorrow at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, tomorrow would be better. I'm not sure about 5 o'clock. I'll have to speak to my wife to see if that's okay with her.
Okay. Why don't we tentatively schedule for 5 o'clock, and then when you talk to your wife, if the schedule is good, then we'll proceed at 5 o'clock. If not, we can reschedule it.
Okay. Okay, and is there any cost to this?
No, it's absolutely free, and it's obligated to you for to nothing.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I will. I'll call you and let you know if we can't make it.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow at 5.
Okay. Thanks, Stephen.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, Stephen, thank you. Off the top, thank you for volunteering. All right. Here's the natural progression of learning the universal callback script. In the beginning, um, or in this learning curve, however long that lasts for people, you have to, at some point, you have to simply just read the script. I get that. You really do. You need to. You're never going to memorize and internalize the script if you don't read it over and over and over again. And that's the stage that you're at right now, where you're reading the script. But here's what you want to try to do a little bit better job of, Stephen, when you're reading is you need to read this with a little bit more enthusiasm, um, because what it projects is competence. All right, as opposed to this, when it's clear that you're reading and you're reading really slowly and in a monotone way, what it screams is, I'm a telemarketer being forced to make these phone calls for $10 an hour. And you do not want to come across that way. You absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, come across that way. Like when somebody calls you and they're looking to see if you're interested in magazine subscriptions, it's somebody who doesn't want to be on the other end of the phone. They don't own the company. They don't have any vested interest, really. They're probably getting paid $10, $12 an hour, and they're just banging out phone calls. And it's evident. It's evident in their tone and in their cadence and speed and all this, and their complete lack of enthusiasm. I really want you to work on that. And here's the best way to do it. You need to hear what you sound like. Okay, you need to hear what I'm talking about. So here's what I'd like you to do, Stephen. Later on this afternoon, we're going to send you an email link to the webinar here this morning, okay? And I want you to click on that link and listen to our role play, you and I. And I want you to listen as if you were a prospect and you were on the other end of the phone with Stephen. And what you're going to recognize right away is it's a little too slow. It lacks enthusiasm in any way, which which causes me to perceive that the person on the other end is not an expert. You need to be perceived as an expert. You need to be perceived as the provider of great information. And so there should be a level of enthusiasm. I'm not talking about over the top. You're not a game show host. That's not what I mean. But I mean we've got to speak, even if it means we're reading for the time being, we've got to speak with much more command of what we're talking about. Okay? Now a couple of other things as well. And obviously this is designed to be instructional for everybody on the webinar here. I think it's really important that in your introduction, two things. One, tell the prospect what they requested. Tell them, you know what they requested. Tell them what they requested. Tell them, I'm responding because you requested information on distress sales and bank foreclosures in the marketplace. And I just wanted to let you know I've prepared that information and you should receive it shortly. The second thing in the introduction is you don't have to say that you mailed it. Okay, the reason it says popped it in the mail is because we literally transcribed what Craig said and what he was comfortable with. I want you to replace that with I've sent it. You've either sent it or you've prepared it. That's it. So that's what you want to say is I've sent that information. Here's the honest truth, Stephen. You're not mailing it. You're going to email the information. If they've requested a list of properties, you're going to email them. So we don't need to say I popped it in the mail. You can just say I've sent it. I hope that's okay. To which the prospect will say, yeah, great, thank you. Or if you haven't yet sent it, you could say I'm preparing it. I hope that's okay. I'm preparing the information and you should receive it shortly. I hope that's okay. So that's something else. Now, at the end when you're making the offer, you've got to make sure that I understand it's free. You cannot emphasize free enough. It's free. There's no obligation to buy a home. Make me feel at ease with coming and meeting with you. Otherwise, I'm just going to say no. And so that's something, it's important that you explain the benefit of the appointment, but if I feel like there's cost or obligation attached to it, I might decline. So you've got a few things to work on there, Stephen, but I'm really glad that you volunteered. It's only going to make you better and better. So thank you.
All right, thank you, James.
Okay, our next participant with their hand raised is Patrick Russell. Your telephone line is now open.
Hello, James.
Hi, Patrick. How are you today?
Oh, great. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Good. James, I was wondering if I could be the buyer and you be the agent. I want to hear a professional do it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what information did you request from me and where?
Distress sales.
Okay, and where did you see that ad?
On Facebook.
Okay, so you were scrolling through Facebook, you saw an ad that offered Riverside distress sales. You clicked on it. You gave your information, contact details, as well as you described what you were looking for.
Right.
And you provided a list of properties.
Yes.
Okay, and now you're calling back the prospect, and this is what you do. Okay, so ring.
Hello, this is Pat
Yeah,
Russell.
Hi, may I speak with Patrick, please?
Yes, this is Patrick.
Oh, hey, Patrick. It's James calling with Craig Proctor's office at RE/MAX. And the reason I'm calling is I just received a request from you on our website for a list of bank foreclosure and distress sale properties. I just wanted to let you know that we did prepare that list and send it out to you. I hope that's okay, Patrick.
Yes, that's great.
Okay. Hey, Patrick, by the way, you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months or so?
Yes, we're thinking about making a move in August.
Okay. And if you were to move, would you be staying locally or might you be moving out of the area?
We would stay local. My wife likes the school district around this area.
Okay. And do you currently rent or do you own the home that you live in now?
We currently rent.
You are renting right now. Okay. And when do you think you'd be ready to make your move?
Within the next 3 months.
Okay. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
No, not right now.
Yeah. How long have you been looking?
I've just been searching on the internet, the last month or so.
Okay. Would you like me to email you every day all of the properties as they come on the market that match exactly what you and your family are looking for? What I would do is be careful to include any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distress sales, all the great deals that you might not find online. I'll make sure that they're in your email inbox the second they come on the market, and it's absolutely free. You're not under any obligation to buy any of them. Would you find that helpful, Patrick?
Yes, that sounds great.
Okay, when can we get together for 15 or 20 minutes so I can do a good job of figuring out exactly what it is you and your family are looking for? As I said, it's free, there's no obligation, and I'm flexible. What's good for you? Days, evenings, maybe something this weekend? What works best?
I can tell you over the phone what I'm looking for.
Okay. Patrick, rather than do that, it's really important to me that I do a good job of understanding what you're looking for. And what I find is this: if we can get together for a brief period of time, sit down together, I've got a form that I fill out, about 48 different bits of criteria that I want to go over. I want to understand as well as you do exactly what it is you're looking for. If we do a really good job, I can be assured, I'm not missing out on the perfect property and not sending you hundreds of properties that may or may not match what you're looking for. As I said, the appointment's free. Don't bring your wallet or checkbook. There's no obligation. Are you certain you wouldn't reconsider a brief 15-minute appointment at your convenience?
Let me check with my wife and see when she's available also.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'd really like to make sure that that both of you are there, because I'm sure there are things that are important to both of you. Why don't we do this? Why don't we schedule a tentative time to get together? And if it doesn't work, if you speak to your wife and that's just not going to fly, give me a call back and we can pick a different time. We can reschedule it for a different time at your convenience. Would that be okay?
Yes, that sounds great.
Okay. What would be good? Something in the evenings or something this weekend?
Probably something this weekend would work better for us.
All right. What's better, Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday. Something in the mid-morning or early afternoon. What would be best?
Probably mid-morning.
Okay. So how about we schedule something around 11 a.m. Is that okay with you?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, and I will give you all of our information, where we are, all that stuff. I'll send you an email right here. And by the way, Patrick, just so I can better prepare for our appointment, have you been pre-qualified for a home loan? Is that something you guys have done yet?
We haven't done that yet.
You haven't done that yet, okay. And do you guys have a cash down payment available for your home purchase?
Yes, we've saved up about $10,000.
Okay. That sounds great. Well, that's something that we can certainly help you with, or at least point you in the right direction as far as doing that, because it's something that's going to help you. I'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday at 11, and my email is forthcoming here. So thanks so much, and I'll look forward to meeting you.
Thank you, James.
Okay, so, hey, there is good. I mean, you didn't really push back too hard, but you did throw out a couple of little objections. This is what I'm hoping that you recognize, is that when what I'm saying sounds really logical, it's harder to object, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it just becomes where you can object, but it kind of sounds like, well, if you really understand the benefit of what I'm offering, then objecting becomes less and less frequent, is what you're going to find. So what exactly were you looking for, Patrick, based on your experience of making these calls, where maybe you're having some challenges? Is there a particular element to the script?
Yes, James. On the making the appointment, I talked to my coach, and that he said I let the cat out of the bag, because I'd said instead of making the 20-minute appointment, I'd sent him the emails, and he said,
oh yeah,
he said not to do that. It was, I was letting the cat out of the bag,
Well, basically, okay, so here's what I think you're referring to is, if you're already sending the prospect properties on an ongoing basis before they've ever met with you, then it's hard to say this: hey, Patrick, would you like to come and meet with me so I can send you what I'm already sending you?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So here's the difference. What you've sent them is a one-time list. A one-time list. So if you had said, well, you know what, I'm already looking at these properties, I would have said this: hey, Patrick, what I've sent you is a snapshot of properties that have already been on the market and already been overlooked by all the other buyers. The reason those properties are still for sale is because no buyer wanted to buy them. What I'm proposing is that I send you the properties as they come on the market before the other buyers know that they're for sale. Would you find that helpful?
Yeah.
Guess what you're going to say to that? You're going to say yes. Damn right I would, right? So this is the big distinction. Now, I'm not able to say that if I've already been sending you the properties as they've been coming on the market. So your coach is right. Don't do that. Send them the information, but send it to them one time.
Okay.
All right. So I hope you found that helpful, and
I did.
And there's some stuff you can use there.
Okay, James. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Our next few participants will be in the form of Q&A or the chat box. Our first, Maria, she says, what do we do if rather than meeting, they would just rather get the emails first to see if it's something they would like, and then they say, I will contact you back. How do you handle an objection like that?
Okay, well, I mean, it's not really an objection. What's happening is they don't understand what you're offering. You know, they don't understand that what you're proposing is not the same as what you're sending them. So if I'm following up with you and you've already received a one-time snapshot of properties, I'm telling you what I've sent you are properties that are already on the market. The reason they're available on the market right now and have been for some time is because no buyer wants them. Because if a buyer actually wanted them, they'd be sold, but they're not. And the reason they're not sold is because the other buyers looked at them and said, nope. That's because they're not really great for you, obviously. So why don't we do this instead? If I know exactly what you're looking for, I will send you all of the best properties as they come on the market before another buyer buys them. So you get to know about them first. The best part, it's free. There's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. All I need is 20 minutes with you so I know what properties to send you. I need to be accurate in knowing what you're looking for so I don't send you properties that aren't of interest or miss out on the perfect property. Do not bring your wallet or checkbook. It is a free appointment. It'll take 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm flexible. What's good for you? Days, evenings, weekends. You book the appointment all day long. It is absolutely no more complicated than that. Here's the problem. It's not that they're objecting, it's that they don't understand what you're offering. That's all. If I did a role play with you, you wouldn't explain the offer in a way that causes the prospect to understand. That's the part that you need to work on. You need to work on explaining the offer so the prospect says, not only do I get it, but I want it. I want what you're offering because it makes perfect sense to me. Next question, Andrea.
Our next question from Henny. The prospect that I try to call is on the do not call list. Can I still call them?
You absolutely 100% can because they initiated the phone call. Okay, so the do not call list rules are very clear. If the prospect in any way initiated a relationship, you can call them. By going onto your website and by requesting information, even if they didn't leave a phone number, you can call them. And you can do that for 90 days. For 90 days, you can call them back, even if they're on the do not call list. Here's why. The law was very clear in that people cannot bait you into calling them. I can't call a company and say, hey, give me a call back. And then when they do, bust them for calling me because I'm on the do not call list. You can't bait someone. So then they figured out, okay, well, what is baiting? How do you bait someone into calling you? We'll make this very simple. If you in any way initiate contact with a company and that company calls you back, they are free of the do not call list. Now, do we fall into that category? Yes. We can prove that the prospect went to our website and requested information from us. We can prove that they did. Right? We have an online trail that shows that they did it. So if anybody on the do not call list said or tried to complain, the first thing that you would have to do is show that they requested information from you. Now, that's never ever going to happen because it just doesn't. However, I want you to know that by no means are you violating in any way the do not call list. You know what violates the do not call list? Calling for sale by owners that are on the do not call list. You can't do that. Calling a FSBO that's on the do not call list. You can't do that. Cold calling the do not call list. Calling around your listings, people that are on the do not call list. You can't do any of those. It's illegal to call someone on the do not call list in any of those circumstances because in no way did they initiate any kind of contact or relationship with you. What we're doing is we're only contacting those who have initiated a relationship or requested information from us. So, and really, that's what sets Craig apart. You know, you go to a Mike Ferry seminar, and Mike Ferry will tell you to cold call. He'll say, screw that, just do it. Don't worry about the do not call list. His strategy is literally, don't worry about it. Don't worry about breaking the law, just break it. It's, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to sort of weigh in on, but I think it's pretty clear where we stand with that. Next question, next.
Our next question comes from Sergio, and he says, when you hold an open house and prospects provide their information, phone number, email address, and name, would you still follow the same script and try to set up a meeting with them as you would any other time?
100%. And again, you know, I started off this morning by talking about the mindset of picking up the phone. So here, just to be clear, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm about to pick up the phone and call them. I got their phone number, I got all their information, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, now just to be in the right mindset, what did they do for me to be calling them? Well, they were obviously looking in the newspaper for open houses. Not only were they actively looking for open houses, but they actually circled my open house and they came on Sunday afternoon. And when they came into the open house, there was no one else there. The only car in the driveway was mine, but they still parked and came into the house and looked around and asked questions about the property. Now, here's the deal. Are there some people that would do that even though they have absolutely no motivation whatsoever? Yes. Yeah, there are some. But are there more that would only do that because they're clearly motivated? We don't know their timing, but we definitely know there's a level of motivation. I'm about to pick up the phone and call the person that did that. And when I do, I'm going to say, oh, hi, it's James calling with Craig Proctor's office at RE/MAX. Hey, the reason I'm calling is I met you at my open house on Sunday, yesterday, or whatever day that would have been. And I just wanted to follow up with you and provide you with additional information on properties for sale that you may have taken a look at. By the way, you folks thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? It's the same script. Your introduction is just not you requested information, but you were at my open house. You were checking out my open house, you know, and maybe you'd provide them with information about that property, maybe email them a feature sheet or whatever. But your script is absolutely identical. Are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 months? If you were to move, would you be staying local or moving out of the area? Do you rent or do you currently own? You know, do you have an agent to help you? All of these are questions that you would ask the prospect regardless of how you came to contact them. Good question. All right, who's next, Andrea?
We've had a couple of members ask about when you say I have a form to fill out, can I take down exactly what you're looking for? Where do they get this form?
Okay, well, when you go on your MLS, and you're setting up a search, are there criteria on your MLS to search? Because this is what we're going to do, right? We're going to set up an automated search that automatically searches out property as they come on the market. It's all going to be done through your MLS. So I want you to picture this. You're getting on your MLS and you're searching for properties. What criteria are you looking at? Is there a field for number of bedrooms? Yes. Well, that's one. Is there a field for square footage? Well, that's two. Is there a field for area, bathrooms, size, lot? How many different fields are there that you could use to pare down your search? And the answer is there are dozens of them. That's what I'm referring to. That's all. That is, the form is the MLS criteria, what you're looking for in a property, right? So don't get all caught up in that and thinking, oh, well, Craig has never sent me that form. You have it. It's your MLS. Hope that helps.
Okay. Jatin asks how the prospects are really converted into listing appointments and sign the listing agreement when they are procrastinating. Do you need me to reread that? It was typed a little funny.
Let me try to make sense of it.
Okay. His prospects are procrastinating. So how does he convert them into listing appointments when they don't really seem motivated?
I would focus on, well, first of all, you can't create motivation where it doesn't exist. If what you're saying is, how do I get someone to want to sell? You don't. How do I get someone to want a haircut? Well, I don't know, if they're bald, you're going to have a hell of a tough time. You know, so let's just clarify. We're not saying we're trying to get somebody to sell. You're never going to get somebody to sell. What you can do, though, is you can explore or maybe prompt them to understand the urgency of timing by focusing on where they're going. Okay, so watch this. You have a seller, and you know that listing their home is imminent, something they need to do. What you want to focus on is their buy side. Where are you going? When are you going there? When are you looking? Focus on their buy side. Here's why. If they say, well, you know, we're looking to buy something right now, you need to be able to say to them, look, if that's the case, you need to understand that there is a lag time in marketing your home effectively. The average home in the marketplace sells in 67 days. So that's the average. So if we want to get top dollar for your property, you need to really consider a marketing strategy to get your property exposed, to get top dollar. Otherwise, you're going to be working from a point of desperation where you might be leaving money on the table, right? But it is only in understanding their buy side. If they say, well, you know what, the truth is we don't really plan on looking around and buying anything probably for 6 months. Well, then yes, it would be premature to talk about their listing side. So insight into their selling motivation is found in their buying motivation. Where they're going is the insight into their timing of when they're selling. Think about that. You want to know about their timing in terms of selling? You discover that in asking questions about where they're going. Good question.
Our next question from Doug. How do you handle a Zillow Realtor.com lead who calls on a property and asks if you were the listing agent when you were not the listing agent?
You tell the truth and say, is it only this property you're interested in, or would you be interested in other properties that match exactly what you're looking for, some of which might be excellent deals? I have access to bank foreclosure company-owned properties, distress sales. Would you be interested in information about those kinds of properties as well, or just properties on Zillow or wherever it was? Guess what every prospect will say? Oh, no, I'd be interested in that. But I do have a couple questions about this listing. Okay. Don't worry, they're just going to eliminate it. Have you noticed that any one single property can and likely will be eliminated? So remember that. The prospect very rarely buys the property they call on, and the reason is because they eliminate it. They eliminate the property because it's not exactly what they're looking for. So it's easy to make them a more universal offer, full of great deals of all and many properties that might be of interest to them. Prospects would be far more interested in many properties than any one property. So that's all you're going to do. Good question. All right, Andrea, who's next?
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to some more role playing. Maria Emin would like to role play. Your line is open.
Hello.
Hello, Maria.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm well, thanks. So I just joined Sam on his team in Remax, First Choice in Toronto.
Oh, great.
And this is my first time role playing, and I've been trying to get on for the past 3 weeks that I've been here, and it's been tough, but finally I'm here.
Okay,
So,
well let me ask you a couple questions first.
Sure.
How are you making out with the follow-up calls?
I think we've been doing pretty good. Yesterday I actually booked 4 appointments. Yeah, so I've been here. I've been making the calls for 3 weeks. It gets a little tough. There's been days where I've left with no appointments, which I guess Sam's been very motivating with me. So I've been going over it again. I've been listening to the calls and stuff. So it's helped a lot. What I find is that, like I asked in my question earlier, was that I explain to people, I give them the offer. The only thing is that I get people telling me, well, since you already know what I'm looking for, and then why is it that you sent me, what is it that you sent me? And I tell them, why don't we meet? It's better in person. They say, well, why don't you email me stuff?
See, here's the thing. That's not enough. That's why. Okay?
Yeah.
Here's what you need to do. You need to make it sound like what you've sent them is absolutely second rate compared to what you're proposing now.
Right.
In other words, you need to work on really differentiating between what you've sent them and what you're proposing to send them. Because if they don't really understand the difference, and here's what that could mean. If they think that what you've sent them is really good, well, then yeah, I'll just say, hey, you know what? You sent me a bunch of great properties. I'm going to take a look at them first.
Exactly.
You need to be able to say, and we talked about some of this verbiage on today's role play.
Yes.
You need to be able to say, have verbiage like this. Look, all of the properties that I've sent you are available on the market today because all of the buyers have overlooked those properties and have not bought them. And I have to say it's very likely that you do the same thing as well. The best properties, they sell, and they sell quickly. So here's the key. You need to know about those properties the moment they come on the market, before the other buyers do. That's when all of the best deals are bought. So if I set you up on an automated email, then as those properties come on the market, automatically and immediately, they'll be sent into your email inbox before they're available on various websites that people might be looking at. It's free. There's no obligation. Would that be helpful to you? Prospect says yes. Then you can say this. It's really important that I do a good job for you. And what I find is if we can sit down for 15 or 20 minutes, I can take down exactly what you're looking for in detail so we don't miss out on the perfect home, or send you hundreds of properties that really aren't of any interest to you. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation to buy a home at any time, but it is important that I do a good job for you, and I'm flexible. When have you got 15 or 20 minutes so we can sit down together and go over your criteria in some detail, Maria? What would be good? Days, evenings, weekends?
Okay.
Now, if you use that exact verbiage that I did, here's what you would find. Once in a while, you might get somebody pushing back on the appointment, but it would be rare. It would be very rare. The better job you do of explaining why we're meeting, the less likely it is that the prospect objects to why we're meeting. But if you don't explain why do we need to meet, then the prospect's going to think, well, I can just tell you over the phone.
Exactly.
Or I don't even need to tell you over the phone. I've already told you on your website.
Right.
That's when you need to be able to say, look, if I can sit down with you, I can be assured that I have as good an understanding as you do as to what we're looking for. I have 48 different criteria that I'm looking at that I'm going to fill out here to make sure we're really honing in on the perfect properties. I'm sure you want me to do a great job for you, but I do want to ease your mind. I'm not charging you any money. Don't bring your wallet or checkbook. There's no obligation to buy anything, but it is every bit as important to me as it is to you that we do an excellent job. And as I said, Maria, I'm flexible, at your convenience. Days, evenings, weekends would take about 15 or 20 minutes. Are you certain that you wouldn't reconsider a brief appointment at your convenience?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Would you agree that's pretty compelling, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. So I like to role play. And I get a lot of people inquiring about bank-owned homes. so bank foreclosures. So I'd like to do a role play if you don't mind.
Okay. So, ring ring. Hello.
Hi, can I speak to James, please?
Yeah, this is James.
Hi, James. My name is Maria from Remax First Choice, and the reason I'm calling you today is because I received your request on our website for a list of bank foreclosure homes and properties. I was just calling to let you know that I have prepared and sent that list over to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Perfect. And James, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
It's up in the air. We're thinking about it.
Okay, so if you found a perfect home at a perfect price and you're driving around and you found the perfect home that matched your home buying criteria and everything was perfect, would you be willing to make a move now, or would you still want to wait?
Well, under those circumstances, we'd sure try like hell to buy it.
Perfect. Do you currently rent, or do you guys own your home, James?
No, we're new to the area and we're just renting.
Okay. And are you folks planning on staying around the same area you're residing in now, or would you like to move somewhere else?
Yeah, no, we're staying in the area, but we're not fixed on any particular neighborhood or anything like that. We're pretty flexible and open to different areas.
Right. And when you were to move, when do you think that might be?
Well, we're hoping to do something in the next 6 months here. If not sooner, if we can. We're just working on getting our financing in order and making sure that prices don't get too crazy.
Correct, and we can definitely help you with that. Do you guys have a realtor that would help you when the time is right?
We met a realtor at an open house a couple of weeks ago, and they've been sending us some properties. They're super nice. I don't know if you know Margaret. She's with Keller Williams. She's really, really super. So she's been helping us.
Okay, well, I'm sure that she will do a great job. But we can, that's what differentiates us. Instead of emailing you thousands of homes that might not match your home buying criteria, would you like me to email you daily updates that would actually maybe match your home buying criteria? Will be from all real estate companies. Our list will include any sort of bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, new construction, any distressed sales. It's absolutely free, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home from us. Would that interest you, James?
Yeah, I don't want to be in it. I go online, and I get emails of properties from the other agent once in a while. So is this the same stuff?
Well, absolutely. This doesn't include stuff that you would find on MLS, and it would be properties that actually becomes available to us before it hits the market, and it would actually be very beneficial for you because you will maybe possibly find a home that would match your home buying criteria and not miss out on the perfect one. When would you think we have time to get together for maybe about 20 minutes? We can sit down. I can go over a list that I have and take down exactly what it is that you and your family are looking for. And instead of sending you thousands of emails every day that will not match your home buying criteria, we can sit down and go over the list for 20 minutes, and then we can help you assist you better to find a perfect home. Would that interest you? When would you be available? Days, evenings, or weekends?
I guess probably evenings, anytime after 6.
Okay. How's tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock?
Great.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Yonge and Steeles area, James? That's where our office is.
Okay. Yep, I am.
Okay, perfect. I will email you the confirmation for our meeting, including our address and my information for a callback. And just remember, we're just getting together for 20 minutes so that I can take down exactly what it is you're looking for. And the service is absolutely free and obligates you to nothing. And I look forward to meeting with you, James.
Great. Thanks, Maria. Okay, so first of all, this is fairly typical in the learning curve.
Yes.
You are 10 out of 10 awesome.
Thank you.
Right up. Unfortunately, there's more.
Till the end.
Right up until you make the offer. When you make the offer, you become a little bit awkward and very tepid in making the offer. It's almost like all of a sudden you go from very confident, expert, competent professional, and now all of a sudden you're saying, maybe could we, maybe meet, maybe this would help you. You'll hear when you go back and you listen to yourself, you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. That's what you need to work on. You've got to work on making the offer seamless, just part of the script.
Right.
And the way you're doing it right now is you're very apprehensive about making the offer. You don't need to be apprehensive about it. What you need to do is just differentiate. Just say, hey, look, you've heard what I've said. You know I'm serious. What you need to basically say is, I can email you every single day all of the best deals as they come on the market right away in your email inbox. The best deals, before other buyers know about them. It's free. There's no obligation. Would you like me to set you up on that? I'd say yes. Then you could say, okay, good. When have you got 15 minutes to meet? Like, if you spoke that way, the same way that you do throughout the rest of the entire phone call, you'd book every appointment that you wanted to. So that's what you need to work on. Now, here's one other thing as well. I tried to throw you off by telling you that I met another realtor that's sending properties and that is really super nice. The only question that you might want to ask is this. Are you 100% committed to working exclusively with them? That's all. That's really all you need to know. All you need to know is, are you 100% committed to working exclusively with Margaret? And if I say no, then move on. Then perfect. You can make the offer. But if I say, yeah, you know what, we committed with Margaret, that would be a different story.
Then exactly.
Well, here's what I would say then. I'd say, okay, well, I'm sure Margaret will do a great job for you, but I would like to point out something, Maria. If the properties that Margaret is sending you are sufficient, then why did you feel the need to request my list of properties that you saw in my ad and on my website? Might there be properties that you're afraid you're missing out on? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Absolutely.
Right? So bear that in mind as well. But this is going to be really instructional for you, Maria. When you go back and you listen to our little role play, you're going to see it's almost like a switch. The entire call is amazing, and you become really, really timid when you get to the offer, and all of the confidence has disappeared. You really need to work on that, and it'll be a game changer.
I will, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Okay. Andrea, do we have a couple more chat questions before we wrap it up for this morning?
We do. Let me pick one up. Okay. This is from another Maria. What do I do if we can't reach the lead after many attempts? Do we still put them on an automatic list?
If you can't reach them, that's normal. Yeah, I mean, here's what I would do. You can obviously you're going to send them the information. Okay, we're not sending them the information is not speaking to the prospect is not a prerequisite for sending them the information. We're going to send them the information. We are not going to remove them from our database. But you're not going to send somebody information that they haven't requested. So if we sent out the information one time and we're trying to reach that prospect and we just never ever reach them, then we're going to leave them in our database, but we're not sending them anything. The reason is because if that prospect 3 months down the road responds to another ad that we've run, we want to know that they requested information 3 months earlier. And we also want to know that we tried to reach them 10 times and they wouldn't answer the phone. That would be helpful for us to know. Maybe we won't do that again. If we knew, we might only try them 3 or 4 times before we say, I've been down this road before with this prospect. So we never delete anyone, but that doesn't mean you're going to stick them on an automated email where you're going to send them something that they never requested. We're going to send them a one-time snapshot. We're going to try to reach them by phone. The more attempts, the better within reason. Obviously, you're focusing on the newer prospects first. So maybe you've tried them 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times, and then they're in your database, but you're not calling them anymore because the new leads have taken priority. If you only generated 1 lead a year, well, then you could call them every hour on the hour every day. But that's not the case. We're always generating new prospects. So if we never reach 25% of the leads, that's called normal. If you only ever speak to 75% of the prospects, that's excellent. It's built in. We know we're not going to talk to a large number of these prospects. We understand that going into this. We're looking to do a great job with the ones that do answer the phone. Great question. Okay, Andrea, do we have another question in the chat?
We do. We have one from David. It says, James, what kind of field or requirement can we add on the landing pages so that we get fewer but more potential prospects?
Well, you can do a number of things. For example, you can include, and Success Website will help you with this, you can include, and again, it's a test, a disclaimer. Okay, so right above the information, it will say this, only accurate contact information will be processed. Now imagine that. It's in red. It says only accurate contact information will be processed. So I'm just about to write my name as Mickey Mouse, and there's a red disclaimer above that says only accurate contact details or only accurate contact information will be processed. Maybe I do one of two things under that circumstance. I either hit the back button and get out of there, X out, leave, or I write James McDonald, right? And that's exactly what you want. You said you'd rather have fewer good prospects than lots of Mickey Mouse. So there are all kinds of things you can do. You can put a star, a red star beside each of the fields, and above it says required fields. It's a test. And you may find that doing that gets you a superior result or not. But you'll only know if you test. And when you talk to Success Website, they've done it all before. So there's nothing new that they haven't tested. So when you say, hey, look, I'd like to try this, they will be very familiar with it. All right, next question, Andrea.
This question's from Jeff. Do you push for prospect to sign a buyer rep agreement even if they are looking to move in 6 months to a year range?
Here's really the test is, are they looking? Are they looking around at properties? Because if they're looking, then they're going to find another realtor. That's the thing, right? So if they were to sign a 12-month contract with you, first of all, do they pay you any money to do that? Answer, no. Are they obligated that they have to buy a home in the next 12 months if they sign a 12-month agreement with you? Answer, no. Are they, by signing your agreement, are they going to get immediate access to all of the properties that come on the market right away? Are they going to get access to that? Yes. It's all upside. There's nothing but upside. There's no downside to them signing the contract. Here's the downside if they don't sign the contract. A month from now, they go to an open house, they meet the agent, they discover that they have a mutual friend with that agent, they hit it off, they love working with that agent, and now 3 months later you call them and they say, oh, no, we've already got an agent, we're happy with them. As a matter of fact, they're over right now, we're having drinks together. You're not, they're gone. You just blew it. Now you're going to try to tear them away from that realtor that they have a relationship with. And it was unnecessary. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it was unnecessary. You could have gotten them in the very beginning. The litmus test is, are you looking for a property? Are you looking for properties? Even if you're not ready to buy one right now, are you looking? If they're looking, you've got a better way for them to look. Offer it to them. Signing a 12-month agreement doesn't say, I agree to buy a home today. It doesn't say that. They're never obligated to buy a home, nor is there any cost whether they do or don't. All it's doing is it's hiring you to help them look. That's it. And it's all upside, all upside. So the answer is yes, 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 and yes to your question. And a really good one, and a really good one to end today's session on as well, by the way. Now, let me remind everybody, tomorrow is our marketing session. If you'd like us to look at any of your ads, then send them in. Upload them to the ad clinic. You know how to do that now. Or you can email them to Andrea and I. But any ads that are doing really well for you, we'd like to see those as well. Any ads that aren't performing, we'd like to see those. But the more information we have, the better. And tomorrow we will discuss nothing but lead generation. So very much looking forward to that. Until then, thank you also very much for joining me. Andrea, thanks for your help.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Talk to you all tomorrow in the Ad Clinic session.